Hi, this is the first of 3 videos, examples of some more complicated graphing problems to help you with that. Written assignment number 10. All right, so this is the first one I'm going to do. In this one, we're going to graph one complete cycle of y equals 2 times cosine of pi over 2x minus pi. So the first thing we have to do is find the amplitude, and that's always the absolute value of the number that the cosine or sine is being multiplied by. So here it's the absolute value of positive 2, which is just positive 2. Then then we're going to find the interval that makes up one cycle. So the interval is going to be an interval notation. It has a beginning and an end. So to find those, we start with one cycle of the regular cosine function. And we put our argument in there. So we start with the interval from 0 to 2 pi, because that's one cycle of the cosine. But we put the argument pi over 2x minus pi inside there, and we solve this for x. So I have to add pi to all the parts. I'm left with pi is less than or equal to pi over 2x is less than or equal to 3 pi. Now I have to divide by pi over 2, which is the same as multiplying by 2 over pi. So that means those cancel, the pi's cancel on each end. And so I'm left with 2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 6. So this is my new interval. This is a cycle of this new function. So in interval notation, because we want to include the 2 endpoints, the numbers 2 and 6, we got to use square brackets. So in interval notation, it looks like that. That's our interval for a cycle. Now we can also use these numbers to get the period by just subtracting. So the period is 6 minus 2, which is 4. All right. So now it looks like we are ready to start labeling the axes. So we're doing the amplitude is 2, so I can label the y-axis -2, +2. Now remember, one cycle is going to go from 2 to 6, x equals 2 to x equals 6. So we're not starting with x equals 0. We're starting with 2, ending with 6. So what's the middle of this? Well, it's 4. And then halfway between 2 and 4 is 3. Halfway between 4 and 6 is 5. So now we're ready to start throwing down some dots. This is a cosine graph. So we know the very first key point is either going to be up at our highest y coordinate, in this case +2, or it's going to be down at our lowest, -2. And we can tell which one it's going to be by looking to see if there's a minus sign. And there is not a minus sign in front of our function. So that means we're starting up high. And also, remember, the last key point is at the same y coordinate. So we're starting, our first key point is going to be up high at +2. But it's not going to be on the y-axis, because we're not starting with x equals 0. We're starting with x equals 2. So that first point is going to go right there. Then the last point is at x equals 6 and y equals 2. And then the middle key point is at our lowest. So when x is 4, y is -2. And then the last 2 key points are plopped down right on the x-axis at 4 and 5. And then we're ready to connect those dots. And that's it. That's a classic cosine cycle. 2 half humps and a valley. It's all stretched up vertically. Right? The amplitude got stretched by 2. And also it got stretched horizontally a little bit. And it got shifted horizontally. There were 2 horizontal transformations and a vertical transformation. All right. So that's the end of that example. There'll be 2 more videos with 2 other types of problems.